A parent is supposed to be your first love and your best friend. They are the ones who give us life, protect us, and keep us safe when the world is scary. For most of us, home is a place of peace. But for a boy named Carlos, home was a prison, and his parents became his enemies. Today, we are looking at a story that feels like a nightmare. It is the story of a son who loved video games so much that he forgot the difference between a game and real life. He did something so terrible to his own family that it will keep you awake at night.
You might think Roblox is just for fun, but after you see what Carlos did, you will never feel safe in a server again. Why did he do it? And what did his friend Gabriel find when he walked into that house? Stay tuned, because this story is as dark as it gets. And well, people, this case starts being told to us by an anonymous person, whom in this video we will call Gabriel. And Gabriel tells us that it all began when he was 13 years old. He was a fairly regular student at his school. He had friends and got normal grades. Gabriel liked video games a lot, and there was one in particular that caught his attention quite a bit because of the amount of things he could do in that game. And guess what? That game was Roblox. At that time, Roblox wasn't as well known as it is now. Almost nobody played it. It was rare to hear that someone liked it. But Gabriel liked it, and played almost daily. Gabriel didn't tell anyone at his school that he played Roblox because they were going to talk badly about him. Because at that time, they bullied people who played games like Roblox. Gabriel had a classmate in his course whom everyone knew played Roblox. Everyone in the school picked on him because he was quiet and had no friends. And Gabriel didn't say anything to him because he also played Roblox. But one day, Gabriel had to do a group project with his classmate who played Roblox, and while they were doing the work, Gabriel confessed to him that he also played Roblox and that he liked it for its great variety of things he could do. This classmate of Gabriel's was amazed because he thought that nobody in his school played Roblox, and that's why they picked on him so much. These two ended up becoming friends, and this new friend of Gabriel we will call Carlos. Carlos and Gabriel now play Roblox together after getting home from school. They immediately connect to play. To Gabriel, Carlos seemed like a slightly weird person. He was very quiet, but he liked playing Roblox with him. He thought that he was like that because he didn't have many friends, but he was very wrong. Because as the weeks went by, he realized that in Carlos's house, there were many problems. Carlos told everything that was happening to Gabriel, and Gabriel was shocked by everything he told him. Carlos's father was an alcoholic person, and Carlos's mother is a person who doesn't want the life she has. Many problems. So the mother always takes it out on her son Carlos, causing Carlos to remain quiet and have no friends. Gabriel, upon hearing everything that was happening, felt quite a bit of pity for Carlos. But he couldn't do anything for him. Simply offer his friendship. At that time, Roblox was starting to popularize games where they have weapons like Arsenal. So, Carlos and Gabriel would play those games because they liked them a lot. These two started looking for more games similar to those, and honestly, they found them quite funny because some were quite poorly made, until they found one in particular that changed everything. We are told that the game was called Matalos, Kill Them. Gabriel discovered that game and invited Carlos to try that game together for the first time. We are told that the game starts with a black screen that said, "They bother you? Kill them. They mistreat you? Kill them. Do you want to be happy? Kill them. Do you want to be free? Kill them." And immediately the match starts, in which there was only one player with a gun, who was Carlos, and the other players of the match were sitting down, among which there was only Gabriel. Gabriel was tied to a chair. The game, for the era they were playing it, looked quite realistic. A message appeared on Carlos's screen which said, "Kill them." Carlos aimed the weapon at Gabriel and shot him in the arm. In the game, it was seen how his friend Gabriel's arm came off and broke into pieces. Carlos was quite surprised by how realistic the game looked. He couldn't believe it. Carlos shot him again, this time in the other arm, causing creepy screams to be heard in the game. From Gabriel's perspective, it looked quite dark. He only saw how his friend shot him and blood appeared on the screen. Gabriel didn't like that game at all, but Carlos was enjoying it a lot for some strange reason. Then Carlos continued shooting his friend's body. Gabriel was completely torn apart, and after Gabriel's character received all these shots, it kicked him out of the game, and a message appeared on Carlos's screen which said, "You finally did it. Now you are free." Carlos loved everything he experienced. He felt like never before. He thought he was never going to forget the feeling he had. Carlos told Gabriel to play that game again, but Gabriel hadn't liked that game and didn't accept. At this, Carlos got very angry with him, because whenever Gabriel invited him to play a game that Carlos didn't like, he would still accept. But now that Carlos is asking Gabriel, he doesn't want to. Carlos became obsessed with that game. He couldn't forget the feeling. He wanted to play it again, but he had no one to play it with, so he became quite sad. Days passed. Carlos and Gabriel remained angry. Carlos went back to playing alone, which caused him to miss the only friend he had. And just around that time, the parents' fights increased, and therefore poor Carlos was beaten much more. We are told that it was abuse, as if they wanted to kill him. Now, every time they hit Carlos, he remembered the text from the game that said, "They mistreat you? Kill them." Now that always came to Carlos's head. He felt an immense emotion, but he didn't dare to do it. Although his parents mistreated him and didn't pay him much attention, Carlos still appreciated them. Carlos now arrived at school from time to time with a sleepy face, and other times with purple arms, but he hid them with a sweater. The only one who knew about this was his friend Gabriel. And Gabriel, seeing that this became more frequent, decided to talk to Carlos again. Carlos told him everything that was happening, that his parents were worse than ever, and that he felt very alone because he wasn't playing with anyone. So Carlos and Gabriel played together again. Carlos was always begging Gabriel to play that game again, and Gabriel didn't want to, but since he felt pity for his friend Carlos, he decided to accept. Carlos got very excited about this and immediately connected to the game. Gabriel appeared again, sitting in a chair, and some messages appeared on Carlos's screen again saying, "You still haven't done it. Do they make you feel bad? Kill them. What are you waiting for?" Yes, those texts are quite dark, people. But anyway, the game started. Once again, Carlos was in front of Gabriel. Carlos had a weapon and proceeded to shoot Gabriel, which generated an immense satisfaction in Carlos. He felt that by doing that, he felt free, as if nothing worried him. While Carlos shot him, only bone-chilling screams of pain were heard on Gabriel's screen. Blood splashed on the screen, and he says it felt like a very real experience. He didn't like that game. Those screams sounded like real people, as if they were actually being shot. While Carlos shot Gabriel in every part of his body, he began to smile in real life. It had been a long time since Carlos had smiled like that, to the point that he laughed too much, and this hadn't happened since he was a child. When he finished shooting him, Gabriel's character was in pieces, and it kicked him out of the game. Then, a message appeared on Carlos's screen which said, "Do it." Gabriel tells us that after that, Carlos became a totally different person. He was weirder than usual because they continued playing that day, and Carlos laughed at everything, whereas before, Gabriel had never heard him laugh. They stopped playing, and Gabriel tells us that the next day, Carlos didn't go to class. This worried him a lot, since Carlos never missed school. 3 days had already passed since Carlos missed class, and he also wasn't connecting to Roblox anymore. This made Gabriel worry even more, as he thought something had happened to his friend. Out of concern, he decided to write to Carlos on Roblox, and Carlos didn't answer him. Gabriel didn't know what to do, as he didn't know the location of his house. Then, Gabriel tells us that it occurred to him to do something very risky, and that was to break into the school records to look for the information regarding his friend's home address. Gabriel was successful in doing it, nobody discovered him, so the next afternoon, he decided to go to his friend's house to see what was happening with him. When he arrived at the house, he saw that the yard was neglected. There were too many tall weeds. He knocked on the door several times, and nobody opened it for him. He decided to try opening it himself and realized it was unlocked. Gabriel tells us that he felt like a fool since he spent 15 minutes knocking on the door. But anyway, once he opened it, a horrible smell hit him, one that he had never in his life experienced. It gave him nausea just smelling it, but he kept walking until he found his friend Carlos. The house was 2 stories. Gabriel had already checked the entire first floor and hadn't found anything, so he decided to go up. And as he went up, he says that smell got stronger and stronger. He could no longer hold back the urge to vomit. Gabriel approached the first door, which was a little open. He opened it completely and saw something that he could never in his life have imagined. There were the bodies of Carlos's dad and mom on the floor with knife marks, and the smell was horrible. Next to them was Carlos, sitting there, laughing and repeating the phrase, "I'm finally free. I'm finally free." Gabriel tells us that he couldn't take it anymore and vomited on the floor, making Carlos realize he was there.
Gabriel realized that Carlos had looked back at him. Their eyes met, and he saw that something in his gaze had changed. Now his friend Carlos scared him quite a bit. Carlos laughed upon looking at him. He tried to get up to greet his friend, but Gabriel ran out of the house. Since that day, Carlos hasn't gone to school, and Gabriel was left quite traumatized. Gabriel is telling us about this case, but he doesn't know whether to tell the police because to him, Carlos is still his friend. He also tells us to be careful with people because you never know what they are hiding. People, what a disturbing story, truly. Carlos is crazy. This story serves as a chilling reminder for all of us. The biggest lesson we can take from Carlos is that video games are meant to be a form of entertainment, not a blueprint for reality. While games like Roblox offer us a world of imagination and escape, we must never let the digital world blur our sense of right and wrong. Real life has real consequences, and the pain we see on a screen is nothing compared to the tragedy Carlos brought upon his family. No matter how difficult life gets, a game is never the solution. If this story shocked you or made you think twice about the people around you, please like this video and subscribe to the channel for more dark stories and deep dives. Your support helps me bring these hidden cases to light. Thank you for watching, and stay safe out there.